Morning. This morning we're looking for what we're going to come and motivate and uplift the top farmers with. Um, and I think I managed to find it, right? J. Stuart Mill, that the character is a fully farm well. Yeah, this morning we're like, what we're going to come and talk about because yesterday we said we weren't feeling, so we're back at it this morning, uplifting, motivating. Top Farm Live is all about the books, the teachings, the principles for success, right? The books, the teachings, and the principles for success, right? That is what this live is all about, okay? The books we read in, the teachings, the principles for success. That's what Top Farm is all about. This morning, few people asked me, all right, so we need to know that there's people asking for the knowledge, so we're back this morning, feeling rested, feel rejuvenated. And this is a book that we have in our hand this morning, Think and Grow Rich. And this morning we're going to talk about, priority and desire and how closely, right? How closely for me, how the two of them intertwined. You know what I mean? That's how we're going to try to tackle this morning, your priority and your desire, right? And for that, we try to have meaningful conversations over here. It's about, okay, your desire, because if you open this book, it says desire is a starting point for all great achievements. So desire is important. For desire is to achieve, right? But also you have to know that the priority. What's your priority? Because sometimes if you desire something, you might have some family and friends want you to change your priority to suit them, right? So it's for me, your desire and your priority is an interchangeable thing, right? I desire this, but I got to know when I got to prioritize certain things in life in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. For those who just joining or passing through, we are Top Farm. Over here, we have meaningful conversation. Blessed, we have meaningful. This is a book we have in our hand this morning. So you must know my life is not here to waste your time. My life is not here for meaningless discussion. I don't just turn on my phone because I have a smartphone and I've got data, right? Whenever I see Top Farm where CEO turn on, good morning, Shelly, right? Whenever time Top Farm or CEO turn on his phone is about uplifting, is about trying to get you on a higher frequency of mentalness, is to awaken your imagination. All right, it's about awakening your consciousness. So we normally said we wait until the video because the way how this platform work, you have a lot of guys who's just looking for, they know what they're looking for. Not many people is looking for what I am about to discuss or what I'm about to impart on you, and that is okay. All right. But remember, you have to add value to yourself. You have to search out the knowledge that you want, and you have to. So for me nowadays, I say you have to seek and implement. Right? You have to read and implement. So you have to read the books. So even this book, simple book like this, Generation. I don't think there is one successful. I don't think there is one successful person that did not read this book. And if you are sitting there in your situation, if you are living in lack and limitations, and you are not feeling like you are achieving our things is going your way, why aren't you reading this book? Right? Why haven't you reading this book? Why? Does that make sense? Why you haven't read it? Because it's okay for you to blame somebody for the results you're getting or not getting in your life, right? And that's the truth. A lot of people don't take the time to do what they need to do to better their situation because there's always somebody to be blamed for the results they're getting or the result they're not getting. All of us are self-made, but it's only the successful people will admit it, right? And until you admit that I've not take charge of my life, I have not done what I need to do, right? Then you are who you are and where you are because of what you haven't done in life. As I said it, all of us are self-made and it's only the successful. So if you speak to a man like Elon Musk, he knows this book. If you speak to a man like Warren Buffett, right? He knows this book. All the successful entrepreneurs, all the wealthy people in the world, they know this book. This book was written by a guy named Napoleon Hill, who spoke to all of the richest guys in his time. The Andrew Carnegie, the Rockefellers, the Henry Ford. This is like the Bible for success. It does not get any much better than that, right? But it comes back to you because we live with the generation we're living in now, the generation you're a part of, it's the government's fault. It's socialism. It's always somebody's fault because this generation are genuinely lazy in learning. This generation will not sit down and say, you know what, there's more to life than what I'm living or what I'm experiencing, right? This generation genuinely does not want to take responsibility for the lack of action and the inaction that they are willing to put up with the media rockety life, right? So when I turn on my phone, right, and thanks to the people who's reaching out to me, I said, what book are we going to talk about this week? I think we spoke about this book last week, but sometimes, sometimes when you wake up and you feel like this is what I want to talk about because something crossed my mind, right? My sister-in-law messaged me last night and said, hey, I'm going on holiday and do you want to come? And I'm thinking, that's not as much as I desire to travel the world. That's not my priority at the moment, right? Because sometimes, because think about it, right? She's like, we're going to Portugal, we're going to Italy, we're going to do this. And I'm like, that's well and good. But at the moment, what I'm trying to do, build my clothing brand, setting up my other business ventures, as much as I truly desire to travel the world. I desire to live a fulfilling life where if I want to go here or there, money is not an objective. And this is why when you're trying to build a successful life, you can't let people put the priorities ahead of the desire. You have to know when to prioritize and what's the desire. For me, I truly desire traveling the world, experience different culture, meeting people, interacting, see the world, right? But at present, that is not my priority. And this is why it's important to write down your goal and you have to steadfast in your goal because as Sidney Portier say, right? When you go for a walk with somebody, something amazing happen. They either have to adjust to your pace or you have to adjust to their pace. And this is why when you set your goals, you can be mindful. Nobody, because sometimes some people is moving too fast, you crash and burn. Sometimes some people is moving too slow, you lose momentum. You fall back into that sense of complacency. So that's why this morning I open up this and say, what am I going to talk about? Blessed, if you come onto my live, you're rocking with Top Farm. Ultimately, I'm a clothing brand. Shameless plug. You can find me at www.topfarmwear.com. Whenever time we take out our phone, we want to encourage you to read the books. We want to encourage you to take responsibility for your life, take responsibility for your actions. Ultimately, that's the day you cross from a child to an adult. Is when you hold up your hand and say, hey, it's not about how I was raised. It's not about how I was, not about where I'm from. It's not about my postcode. But I'm going to take responsibility for the outcome I'm getting or not getting. Right? Because ultimately, all of us is self-made. But it's only this blessed Shelly. Where I go on? Shelly, where I go on? Just drop me like so. Are you like what I'm saying, Shelly? Are you just a hit like? Which one? Talk to me. Hold on, let's pause here a minute and talk to Shelly. Talk to me, Shelly. Why am I getting so much like Shelly? Do you like what I'm saying? Are you just oh God? Who is Shelly? Who is Shelly? Talk to me. Where are you from? Where are you watching me from? Where are you watching me from? Because I've got time. I've set aside. Oh, you're talking facts. Well, yeah, that's what I said, right? Thanks and I appreciate that, right? This is what I said. My life is not just in the UK. Well, I'm actually up the road from you. I'm in Scotland, Jamaican, but I moved to Scotland about 15, 16 years now, right? But yeah, I'm from Jamaica, yeah. And so I want to reach my fellow Jamaicans, right? And if when I can reach and meet Jamaicans and can say, hey, because the truth is, right? As a Jamaican, we were only left to the popular culture. So the popular culture dictate our outcome in life, right? And even if you go to church, a lot of the pastors that's preaching to you, they're not aware of what they are saying. You know, a lot of people use religion to condemn themselves to a life of poverty because if you go to church, you hear that money is the root of all evil. But you got successful people are in the book, in the science of getting rich. There is no right motivation that you most of us definitely, but as I said, I don't as like I said, so there's no virtue in being poor, you know what I mean? So when we grew up and we've been told money is the root of all evil, 6 wanted back in charge, 60% of Jamaica want back in charge. I don't understand that, right? So it's not about motivation because what I normally said, right? When you motivate people, they trivialize hard work, right? I've spent over the past 5 years, right? Over the past 5 years, if I open this book, you will see I've just been taking notes. And it's not just about taking meaningless notes. This book is like having my philosophy, right? A lot of us as young Jamaican black men, we adapt the philosophies of the popular culture. So you might have somebody, for example, quick example, Beanie Man, right? Said man fi have enough gal and gal in a bungle, right? That's ingrained in a lot of Jamaicans. So even if, that's why a lot of women don't understand the hardship of dating a Jamaican, because we validate ourselves and the popular culture. So if I'm going to be married and be truthful to one woman, I automatically feel like I'm not living up to the expectation of what the popular culture dictates. So it's not. So you have to get back to that place to recondition your mind and relearn what you learn, right? And this is the truth about being a Jamaican, like, because you've been told you have enough woman in a bungle. You have your woman in your yard, but enough girl you've been with, right? So if you say to myself, I want to live a life where I just want one partner and I want to build this, it's hard to break away from that mindset. So I've been through that process. We say, all right, we're gonna have to figure out the and learn what is right, what's wrong. We have to learn the fundamentals of life. And I've always said, right? That's why you have to seek ye first the kingdom of God, right? You have to willing to seek the knowledge, because it's only the knowledge, it's only understanding the parables that's going to be able to get you to live a happy and a rich and a fulfilling life. Because everybody is pushing their own agenda. Everybody is pushing their own agenda, their own belief, right? So if you don't, bless it, amen, if you don't take the time, and I say, yeah, of course, we have to accept it. If we can't accept, like, I've been there where I question everything. I question everything that I would say make me a Jamaican. I would want people to accept me to be a Jamaican. And if more young black men can reach in our frame of mind to say, because the oppressors, after the oppressors say, all right, you guys were free. Free to do what? Free to become what? Right? How can you be free without knowledge? Right? A good ground. How can you be free? So Bob Marley say you have to get yourself from mental slavery. You understand? Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. And as much as the chains has been removed, because what happens, what happens in life, and it doesn't really only to black people, right? Because you realize nowadays, like, people brains are truly chained. People mind, society nowadays, people mind are so chained, it will make the chains and shackles of the past look like a cakewalk. People don't know what to believe anymore. They don't know who to believe. They don't know what is wrong. They don't know what is right. All right. So the oppressors has moved the chains, the physical chains, and has went on to bandage people's spirit, bandage people's mind. Right? But I've said this all the while. I've been to Edinburgh. If you ever get a chance, there's a place in Edinburgh called the Surgeon General, where it's like the Mecca ground, right? Good morning, good morning. I see my regulars, them checking in. I'm a bit early this morning. I'm normally about 9 o'clock, right? I've said this before. I've been to this place in Edinburgh called the Surgeon General, right? So if you live in the UK and you ever want a day trip, I would truly recommend you went and check it out, right? And when I went to that place, because in life sometimes you actually have a moment that everything makes sense, right? And in this place, everything, every part of the human body was there that was affected by a disease. You name it, it is there. That was like the mecca of healthcare, the Surgeon General in Edinburgh. But when I leave that place today, right? And I remember Bob Proctor. So here is a name for you, because I want to elevate you and lift you up and name drop, right? I remember Bob Proctor said the brain is no more the mind than the fingernail is the mind. And I went there and I saw the brain, I saw the heart, I saw the liver, I saw the spleen, I saw everything. The only thing I did not see or saw, right, was what was deemed the human mind. Everything was there apart from the human mind. What does that tell you, right? If your mind can't be placed in a morning Serabi, if your mind can't be placed in a glass jar when you are dead, why are so much people giving up their mind to people? This is why influential marketing is such a big thing, because people is lazy in learning, people is lazy in thinking, and people is just lazy in the ability. And this is why we might not think that we are living in a physical slavery time, but we are living in a mental slavery, because nobody want to think for themselves. Nobody want to do the research for themselves. How can you give somebody the right to think for you? There's not, like, as a wise man once said, everything in the pig you can find apart from the mind, right? That's what makes us different, because we have seen it, I've said it many times, because some things my life, some of my life, the fundamental, when people need to stop work and stop looking after extra. Yeah, of course, but you have to, not everybody go and see it like that. So yeah, it's about elevating yourself. This is why I come over here and I said, hey, start with gym run. Because what? You have to understand life. You have to understand who you are. You have to understand the term personal development, right? This is such a big word, and it's such a fundamental word. All right. It is such a big term. It's such a fundamental term. But no one can think. No one should be. No one should ever think for you. That's as individual. That is you. That's your God-given right. That's the gift that was given to you. The right to think for yourself. But we reach a stage in life. Where the minority is thinking for a majority of people. And this is why when you watch, if you are online or you are unfortunate, everything is within. Of course, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And they say God live. And yeah, we know that, right? But what I'm trying to say, this is why relationship is so complicated these days, because everybody is letting people think what their idea of a relationship should be, right? This is why I know I don't understand that. About what you don't understand. So when you go online sometime, one of the most talked about subject now is about relationship, what role should a man play in a relationship? What role should a woman play in a relationship? And it's no longer individual. You find majority of people is actually sounds as if their idea of a relationship should be the blueprint for every relationship. And that comes back because people are so empowered and so emboldened to think that they have the right to think for you and think, well, I wouldn't say me, because it's too important. It is too important. It's of uttermost important, right, to allow people to think for me. I would never, ever, 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 ever reach a stage in life where somebody feel they have the right to think that's what I want, that's what I will accept, that's what I stand for. I'm my own person. I will do my own thinking. I will come to my own conclusion. All right. And this is why it comes back to Les Brown said, a person opinion of you does not have to become your reality. You shouldn't care what somebody think of you, because that's their right to think. Let them think what they want to think. Right? Majestic things take over. People is of course, it's a person of weak mind. And all right, definitely. And this is why top form is all about will to power. You said it perfect. Weak mind and a weak will. Each individual have a child. Exactly. But this generation does not know that. This generation does not want to accept that. This is why this generation is just fumbling around. They don't know what to believe. They don't know who to believe. This is why we said what we said. This is why when we take out our phone, we want to find the people who say, oh, I get you. I'm going to start take action. And as a wise man once said, you can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. So if you find yourself the generation of spoiled and angry, yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Right? It's about accepting to say, hey, am I allowing people to think for me? Is this fundamentally my beliefs? Is this what I stand for? You have to take charge of your mind, right? That's the importance. That is why we come over here. Ultimately, as I'm going to say it again, if you like what you hear, you like what you see, remember, I'm a clothing brand, www.topfarmwear.com. We come over here this morning and we're having the conversation of about desire, priority. All right. You have to desire to think for yourself, right? Because if you don't, because you see the thing is, right, when you're not thinking for yourself, when you're not acting, and people will use you. People will use you because self-preservation. People, if you are a person of weak will, right? If you are a person who's turning up and not really, and this is why a lot of people find themselves on the other side, where people have them at their own mercy, right? Because if you are thinking for yourself, You are going to know where your lines are and where your boundaries are, right? Then, because remember, a wise man once said you have to put a limit on the amount you are willing to give to people, because people will not put a limit on the amount they are willing to take from you. But you have to do that by self. And we talk about self introspection last week, about listening to yourself, examining yourself, take stock of yourself, know who you are, know what you are about, know what you bring to the table, add value to yourself, right? And you add value to yourself by learning and developing, evolving. As a wise man once said, it's only the tailor gets it, because every time your tailor see you, it retakes his measurement. But some people haven't seen you for 2-3 years, and they're happy to say you have changed. But it's not a bad thing. It's evolving, right? No, it's spiritual enslavement. Spirituality, yeah. Spirituality enslavement, yeah. For right? Definitely. Everything, yeah, because remember, the strong pray on the weak, The strong pray on the weak. The strong will always pray on the weak, but you can't have the oppressor without the oppressee. So if you are happy to accept the status quo and don't willing to read the books, you don't willing to learn, you're not willing to farm, of course, you can't have one without the other. No one can turn up and oppress me. You cannot, right? Because guess what? I've taken the time to learn. And I've not reached a stage in life where I say I know everything. I try to learn something every day. I try to read something every day. I try to do my introspection by examining how I'm spending my time, who I'm spending in my time with, because you are in the, and it's not hard. It is truly not hard. It is not, as you said, I'm in the know, right? And it's not hard. But if your appetite for learn, I think I hear Michelle Obama said it once. You truly have to fall in love with learning. You have to fall in love with learning, because if you haven't learned anything new since you have left high school, if your education stop at school, then you are in serious trouble, right? Take it from me, right? Most of what I've learned over the past 4 years, they did not teach it in school. They did not teach it in school. And what I've learned is about personal development. It's not about wanting to be flashy. It's not about wanting to be boastful, because show me somebody who is boastful, I'll show you somebody who's insecure. But when you turn up at a workplace, or you turn up at an interview, right? When you turn up into a value-based society, knowing, if you know that you spend time to work on yourself, add value to yourself, and you got your government qualification, you will turn up at an interview feeling 10 foot tall. Why? I know I've got the qualities. I know I've taken time to add value to myself, and know that, because a lot of people want to give something that they don't have. In any walks of life, in any walks of life, you can't give what you don't have. Whether it's relationship, most people think that if you're learning, no, because remember, a body in motion, is that they call it the Isaac, the law, a body in motion remains in motion, right? You need to keep, because if you're not growing, you're dying, right? That's a law of inertia, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. So it does not matter. It does not matter. Learn something every day. Keep your mind growing spiritually, emotionally. Because sometimes you might listen to a song, you might get an emotional quote that might anchor something. So you might be going through something in life, and this is why you can't trust your memory. I said this all the time. I trust my memory, but to a degree. So as soon as I open this book, something will jump, something, right? If you want to improve, if you want to improve, be content to be foolish and stupid, right? So it's okay to say I don't know this, right? It's only the foolish person like I know it all, right? So you have to be contented to be thought foolish and stupid, not accepting, but you know what? I don't know that, Like, I'm reading every day, I'm listening to something every day. I got my pen, right? I got my pen, I got my paper, and this book, I think I buy this book for £1. Never forget this. I buy this in Poundland for £1, right? And this book, you could not pay me enough money for this book, right? You could not. As soon as I open it, and this is Bob Proctor. You said, Bob Proctor, the secret to overcoming anxiety, faith-based and understanding is a key to freedom. Right? Bob Proctor went on to say, anxiety and fear is a form of ignorance. Right? Anxiety and fear is a form of ignorance because anything we don't understand, we automatically fear it. Right? Be open-minded, definitely. Don't be too open-minded. Stand guard at your mind because anything that's too open, useless. And all right, so this is why we have to even question some of what's up. Be open-minded, but also stand guard at your mind. I don't think I would use the term open-minded. What I don't share is prejudice and bias. All right. Jim Rohn said you have to stand guard at your mind. So if you haven't taken anything away from this, let's question the whole notion of being open-minded because the mind is the most fertile field. And if nothing of substance is planted in it, then an abundance of useless weeds will bring forth. That's from the book As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. So if you like that quote and you want to get more gems from that book, get yourself that book. All right. The mind is the most fertile field. So it's not about being open-minded because you have to stand guard at your mind. And it's difficult. It is the most difficult thing to do is to stand guard at your mind because as soon as you come on any social media platform, somebody is just waiting to pour toxicity in it, to pour negativity in it, to pour doubt in it, to pour misinformation. So I want you to question that notion of I'm not going to be open-minded, but you have to know what exactly. Exactly. You have to know what. And this is why you have to go in search of knowledge. This is why it's important you go in search of knowledge. I use this example when I try to speak. A lot of people on social media nowadays is saying Burger King is not into the burger business. So if you are online, you must come across one of these so-called entrepreneur. There's a famous African one who like purple. I think this term first get mentioned in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Great book, but not everybody is always 100% right. So I think they said McDonald's is not into the burger business. McDonald's is into real estate. All right. How do I know that is lie? I know that in the science of getting rich, you have to do the right business in the right place. All right. In the book, it said you would not open an ice cream parlor in the middle of the desert. What does McDonald's does? McDonald's does the right business in the right places. This is why when you go in the town centers and the busy places, you will see McDonald's. On top of that, McDonald's has perfect what they've done to the best, right? So when somebody, so it's important you are reading the books because a lot of people out there, wait. I told me sit down in so long. A lot of people out there, right? They are reading these books, right? So a lot of these, all the burger business, right? So, but I'm just using an example. So you have to know the truth. When somebody's going to look on you and tell you McDonald's is not into burger business, ask them, can you get a mortgage from McDonald's? Can you get an apartment to rent from McDonald's? Can you go to McDonald's and get a premises to lease? No, you can't. But it's imperative that you know the truth. And I know the truth because I read this book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Waddell, right? The science of getting rich. You have to do the right business. So even as an entrepreneur, if you want to understand and you think I've got a business before you think people is not supporting you, this is why you can't just, this is why a lot of small business might fail because you can't just get up and just do things. You have to condition your mind. You have to read the book. This is why some of the most successful companies, they are not doing anything special, but they are meticulously, right? All right. When I used to do security for the cooperative, right? And they're in the UK, and everybody know the cooperative is probably the most expensive supermarket because what? And they are a very successful supermarket, right? Yeah, because the cooperative put their supermarket in communities, in low-income communities that don't have access to a lot of transportation, and they factor that into their price. So anytime you go into most deprived area, you will always see a cooperative supermarket, right? The cooperative are not in the rich and upscale neighborhood because people is not going to pay the price, right? But when you go into the low income communities, the cooperative is there. That's to show you that's their business model. That's their strategy. So you can't be lazy in learning because you can't be open-minded, because if you are open-minded, as my friend said, people will be happy to pour every and anything in your mind. They'll be dumping the toxicness in your mind. So as Earl Nightingale, as Jim Rohn said, you have to practice the art of standing guard at your mind. The miserable is quite talkative, right? The negative, so if you don't stand guard at your mind, right? If you don't stand guard at your mind, the negative people, the non-progressive people, the doubtful people, the bitter people, the people are the persons who is happy to blame everybody for the result they are not getting it. If you are too receptive, they will happy to come and dump that tax off. It's not about being open-minded. It's about not being prejudiced. It's about not being biased. But it's about standing guard at your mind. And that's what I do. Because nowadays, the popular culture, even if you listen to some of the music that's coming out, the popular, because here is the truth, and here is the truth, and this is the truth, and nothing but the truth. You can't get clean wine from a dirty vessel. Yeah? Standing guard at your mind, you'll be careful of what you're consuming. So, write that down. It's a free one. That one is free. You will never ever get clean wine from a dirty vessel. And if you don't stand guard at your mind, if you don't be careful who you're listening to, who is influencing you, who's got your attention, who is getting access to your subconsciousness, then you are in trouble. I've come to like, I'm a Jamaican. I don't listen to a lot of dance. I'm very picky. Like, I literally unpick the music I listen to. Even if I come on social media, I unpick the videos I watch. Because once those things get in your subconsciousness, blessed, we over here try uplift and try to point some people, you know what I mean, motivate. As if you check my bio, you will see where I said I'm an educational speaker, right? We're talking about standing guard at your mind, all right? You have to be careful who you listen to. Because as a wise man once said, all right? And this is why you understand, like, the philosophies, they read the Bible and they come back and they simplify it. But as a wise man once said, you'll be a reflection, I think it's Jim Rohn, said you'll be a reflection of the books you read and the people that you hang out with. All right. And that's why the Bible said, show me your company and I will tell you who you are. I've got videos over here, so you have to be careful where people find you. All right. This is why when Jesus was crucified and buried, he came back to his disciples who was looking for him and said, why are you looking for the living amongst the dead? Be careful where people find you. If you were lucky enough to grow with your granny or a Jamaican, they will tell you, on every pan and knock, you must be present. And not everywhere you're supposed to be. All right? Be careful where people find you. Because you'll be a reflection of the books you read and the people that you hang out with. So even if you don't have access to a wide friend circle, you don't have to just, you can start to feed your mind. You can start you can start, good morning, right? You can have access to people that's going to impact your life in a meaningful way. I came across this term, personal development, right? Adding value to yourself. Once you start add value to yourself, you will see the result in your life. The Bible was clear as day. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you take the time to read the books, to invest in yourself, it compounds over time. How you carry yourself, how you speak. They say, open your mouth and you tell the world who you are. Right? This is why you can go for an interview and they don't want you to work for them. Because more, right? Once you open your mouth, but if you are not ingesting substance thing, if you're not reading the book, if you're not practicing the philosophies, right? Then how are you going to be speaking and carrying yourself so the world can say, here is a person of value, here is a person of worth. That place, yeah, this is what Top Farm is all about. Ultimately, we are a clothing brand. Find us at www.topfarmwear.com. We come over here, we try to speak, we try to uplift, we try to encourage and said, like, look, life is not just resolved for the select few. Right? As Jim Rohn said, I love him. He keeps on saying, life is not, he said, don't bring me your needs, bring me your seeds, because only thing you got is sun and soil. Right? Too much people is turning up with their needs. Blessed Shelley. Right? You ever meet somebody where all they want is, and when you meet them, they're so needy. All right, I need this, but what do you got in place? When you turn up and you have things in place, people is lining up to help you, right? People is lining up to help you. And this is why I said, the only thing we got is a sun and soil, right? It's not, life is not there. Everybody have wants and everybody have needs. It's not just you, but all right, how are you going to turn up in the marketplace? And that's what makes a difference. Because success is not just like fundamentally, this world has some fundamental principles, right? Yes, the system is rigged. Yes, we might feel like we're swimming against the tides, but this is like the natural selection process. How badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? And this is why a lot of people give up sometimes. And we talk about if you have a dream and you dream of being an entrepreneur, a speaker. I spoke about this book last week, 3 Feet from Goal. It's a great book for anybody who's got a vision, who want to accomplish something. Because in that book, it tells you first come the dream, then come the struggle. And it's at the struggle where a lot of people give up. Blessed if you're reading, right? 3 feet from goal. More gold is mined from the mind of men than that's what's taken from the ground. It talks about expertise, right? That's a great book. Very, 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 very good book, right? And not only when you read the books, you got to be taking out the extract. So when you're sitting down, you can look back. You can look back, right? Last week we talked about Born to Win by Z. Exactly. Don't let nobody kick your cat, right? Don't let nobody kick your cat, because sometimes some people going through their troubles and they just looking somebody to, right? This is what we talk about. So you see, this is why Top Farm is here. You're reading the books. Don't let nobody kick your cat. If you never hear that story from Zig Ziglar, it's basically this privileged guy gets stopped by the police, and by the end of the day, the cat go home and get kicked, and he has nothing to do with it. Don't let nobody take out their problems on you, right? But you have to feel good about yourself. You have to have a purpose, right? You have to go through life acting rather than reacting. All right? Yeah, the person who's reacting is confusing. We act, we be nice, we be courteous, right? Understand these things. Like life is, as I said, Bob Proctor said all the while, and I will forever saying it. Once you understand the magic trick, so many books are read, but reading many books causes confusion on the soul. That's said by Earl Nightingale. Pick out a handful of books, because a lot of writers of books have read the books them, like As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, The Richest Man in Babylon, right? So if you want to understand financial freedom, right, that's a book I would truly, 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 truly recommend. Can't recommend it enough, right? And just like Earl Nightingale, yes, only a handful of, yeah, at the same books, right? Yeah, but a lot of these people who rewrite books is just basically taking principles from these books. It's like reggae music, for example. I'll use reggae music. Like Bob Marley is like, doesn't matter what you do, Bob Marley has done it. So we can only try to keep it going and try to keep it, yeah, but he has done it. There's not one reggae artist going to say something that Bob Marley, and I'm talking the clean reggae music, and this is why you have to know the good from the bad, right? There's not one reggae artist going to come and talk about love in its purest form and peace and equal rights and justice that Bob Marley has not spoke about in his music. So if we listen to Bob Marley, we'll be like, all right, that's not new, that's not fresh, but I like it. You understand me? And this is why if you take the time to read a book like what Napoleon Hill wrote, because everybody is just out there trying to write a next Think and Grow Rich. Everybody is out there trying to write a next Richest Man in Babylon. Reggae different from, definitely, that's a different, definitely, we don't, yeah, we just example, you know what I mean? That's big difference, right? But we're just using it as an example to say, if you're going to look for a book in terms of personal development and how to achieve in life, I would say start here. Start here, like it's got everything you would need. And as I said, it was Neville Goddard said, reading many books causes confusion on the soul, right? So I don't read, I don't get up and just, I find a good book, like I love knowledge even more. So definitely, so it's not only reading it, but it's applying it to life, right? I love the book As a Man Thinketh in His Heart. So if you never read any book and it's only 45 minutes, listen. So and not everybody likes to read nowadays, but gone are the days if you weren't reading, you weren't growing, because you can be listening to it on different platforms, right? For me, like I listen to that book at least once a month, because when I first came across that book, it was like a light switch went off in my head, right? And I'm like, okay, okay, this is it, this is it. I have to take control of my thought process. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you're getting up and thinking that you are no good, then you are your tube as books and there to listen to for. Definitely, books. I listened to so many books this week. I listened to about 3 books a week, and I can't remember them all, but I always extract it. So, but this is what I said to my family members nowadays. Anyone who choose to live in yeah, so what I tend to do, I tend to use a 3-prong approach. I will listen to it on that platform, then I go over to audiobook, and then I buy the book and put it in my library. So if you see my library is really building, right? Because the result, I've come to that realization, the results you're not getting are getting is it's in books, right? Because when you read a book like Jim Rohn, The Seasons of Life, right? The Season of Life. It's just a beautiful book that just helps to calm you, right? It just helps to calm you to know that life and business, and this is why relationship get broke down, family get break down, because you got some family you can't tell them I'm going through a winter, I don't have any money just now, because they think you must always have it. You got some friends that might ask you for something, and you can't, because them they are in that mind frame, and that's just the immature mind. You understand me? I come from the immature mind, right? But you have to find out. I think it was Jim Rohn again. So you find out what the 99% do and don't do it, right? Because success leave clue, failure leave clue. So the fact that 99% is not reading books. I was listening to Marian Gold. I barely can call his name, but he's a guy on the other platform. He spoke about he built a multi-million dollar company by using biblical principles, right? So if you want to, he's got some good videos, not so much good videos, but no one is perfect, right? And he was speaking the other day, and he was saying, have you read this book, 3 Feet from Gold? Have you read? And I'm like, I've read those books, so I must be doing something right. I think he mentioned 3 books that I've talked about this week, 3 Feet from Gold, and he mentioned a couple other books, and I'm actually read those books, you know what I mean? So I felt like, all right, in that moment, I felt a little victory, because, all right, here's a successful guy that I've come across the books that he have read, and I've read them, right? But you have to willing to read. You can't be lazy in learning, right? You genuinely cannot be lazy in learning. If you are lazy in learning, then you have to blame yourself. As I start this video, I said, all of us is self-made, but only the successful ones will admit it. Like if you look on Warren Buffett, he's still reading. Like you have to exercise. Reading to the mind is what exercise is to the body. But if you don't value physical activities for your physical body, then you won't value exercise in your mind. And you have to willing to keep your mind growing. As I said, if you're either growing or you're dying, nothing stands still in life, right? Nothing stands still in life. And we have to acknowledge and accept that. We can't just come on this this spinning planet, because whether you like it or not, the planet is revolving. Things is ever moving. Things is ever moving, ever changing, right? And this is why it's important that you appreciate that fundamental. Like I said the other day, the meaning of fundamentals is a set of basic but simple but essential principles that everything derives from, right? So nothing is here to stand still. The day you stand still is the day the master said your time has expired on this earth. Until then, you cannot say I don't need to learn anything else, right? Because you're going to wake up and realize people has moved on, society has moved on. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Ultimately, I'm a clothing brand. If you like the shirt, if you like the art, you'll find it at www.tabfarmwear.com. When we came over here, we come over here to try to uplift. We try to speak to a few people who will listen, who is just looking for a voice that can really get them going. I'm afraid of the term motivation, because the motivated people trivialize hard work. It's not going to be easy adding value to yourself, right? But as I said, Bob Proctor said, when you understand the magic trick, it's no longer magic. When you understand life, it's magical. If you want to know that life is magical, then start to add value to yourself. All right? Start adding value to yourself. It compounds over time. You don't have to go on a crash course. You don't have to. Elephants don't bite. No one is asking for you to make the big changes, but start to do the small disciplines. It adds up. If you spend some time with me this morning, I've realized I'm able to go on for pretty much an hour. I appreciate your time, all right? As a wise man once said, I'd rather give you money than give you my time, all right? You can use the time to make twice the money that you give away. No one can give you more time. So be mindful of where you spend your time, all right? And if you use your time according to the biblical scriptures, I think it's in Timothy's, everything, there's a time and place for everything under the sun, all right? There's a time and place for everything under the sun. A time when you want to hear my voice and a time when you don't want to hear my voice. But at the same time, you have to appreciate that fact that the Bible said. So if you are just living for the entertainment value, if you are not trying to understand the importance of financial freedom, the importance of personal development, the importance of building and nurturing relationship, then when the time comes and life requires those things, then you are going to get found out. A lot of people get found out in life. You got the rich people, them, I say it all the while. One of the richest person I met was actually the most saddest person. He was so rich, but he did not have family and friends to share that money with. Maybe he's happy. In my opinion, from the conversation that we had, right? So understand life. Know what life requires. Pay the price. All right. This is why we say top form, will to power. Make the sacrifice. Pay the price. All right. Life requires some prices that you have to pay. No one can step off this blue spinning planet without playing it. Thank you, Sarah B. I hope I was able to say something of value. And for anybody who never read this book, The Richest Man in Babylon, if you say 2024 is when you want to start to secure the bag, get that book. And if you're feeling a bit down on yourself because you don't have people who motivate you and uplift you, then you want to be reading the book As a Man Thinketh in His Heart, So Is He. All right? That's an important book by James Allen. All right? 30 minutes to listen to and about an hour read or less. It's about 100 page or less. All right? James Allen. Right? Once you read those books, then you will start to believe in yourself, because if you don't have nobody encouraging you, you got your copy. All right. Once you read the copy, make sure we start taking the notes. All right. Make sure you leave. Like if I die tomorrow, my family can see, hey, he was a serious dad. I've got a serious dad. He does. There we go. So we don't only get the books and let them grow dust. Right. There we go. We start to build. It's important. Having your philosophy is like setting at the seals, right? And the gems you take from the book, it is a book. It is a great, great book, right? Having a goal will change your life. There you go. So I always encourage people, don't just get the book, read the books and take out that one gem, right? There is a next gem. Don't wish for it to be easier. Wish for you to get better. All right. You can sit and wish all you want. All right. Don't wish for less problem. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. Because the thing, once you have learned the principles in it and to practice them, exactly. So it's about reading and implementing, right? Somebody said to me I should start a book club. I'm trying to figure it out. I want to make the readers them. We can actually read and share gems and extract, because I might miss something that you didn't, and we can go through a book a week, right? We will have leave a great legacy. Exactly. It's the notes, it's the pictures. This is why I said, right? I remember I did a video the other day before I go, where Bob Marley did another greatest interview. The interviewer said to him, "Do you make a lot of money? Are you a rich man?" And Bob Marley said, "What makes you rich?" And the guy said to him, "Say, do you make a lot of money out of music?" Right? This is because sometimes we hear stuff, but until we sit and process it, right? And the interview said, "That's a great question." Bob Marley said, "Does money make you rich?" The guy said, "That's a great question." Bob Marley went on to say, "My riches is life, and he will never die because of the words he has imparted on us," right? And this is why, exactly. So for me, anyone take up this book when I'm no longer here, they will cherish it, right? So this is the last one. The major key to my better future is me. It's not the politician. It's not how I was raised. I'm in charge. The major key, right, to my better future is me. Don't trust my memory. I write it down. I could sit here and give you gems all day. Emotions can either build or destroy. We have to employ emotions properly. Think about it. Somebody out there serving life imprisonment because they act out a character in a brief moment. Discipline our emotions. People can weaponize our emotions against us. I could sit here and go on all day, but I feel like every good performer when it's time to leave the stage. Ultimately, I'm a clothing brand. Get this on your chest. That to be on top form is to be in peak physical fitness, not only mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and economically. That to be in top form is to be in, and it takes a chain is as strong as its weakest link. This is why we come over here. Sometimes we talk about the money principles from the richest man in Babylon. That's for the economic side of the brand or the mindset. We talk about exactly the balance. We talk about as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You think in secret, but it comes to pass. Man is nothing but a looking glass. This is where we're trying to get you to see value in yourself, to the spiritual. Right? To be on top form is to be in peak physical fitness, not only mentally, but spiritually, economically, emotionally. All right? Every good performer when it's time to leave the stage. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes, but as a wise man said, not every time you're going to want to hear my voice. And I appreciate that. There's a time and place here under the sun. If you spend time with me and you like what I'm saying, I'm never going to turn on my camera and I don't try to be imparting some knowledge, something of worth. There's enough worthless content out there, right? Believe me, personal development, that's what makes the difference in my life. If you listen to Jim Rohn, you listen to Les Brown, you listen to Bob Proctor, you listen to Earl Nightingale, all right? These guys, Zig Ziglar, right? I leave Zig Ziglar at the end. Zig Ziglar is more like a motivational person, which is all right. But I like Les Brown is like a motivational speaker, but he adds reality to it. Doesn't matter how motivated you are, the challenges is going to come, the pushbacks are going to come. But as he said, if you can look up, you can get up. And that's what I like about Les Brown. Yes, you are motivated, but Murphy's Law is waiting for you in the car park. The challenges is still waiting. Make sense? Have a blessed day. Top form, will to power. Make the sacrifice, pay the price.